Barcelona are set to do the impossible. After losing 4-0 away to Atletico in the first leg of the Copa del Rey, Hansi Flick's men will be looking to accomplish what could be the biggest comeback of the season, the remontada, a terminology that Barcelona fans are all too familiar with. In this video, we are going to be discussing the factors that could decide this game and what tactics Hansi Flick could be looking to deploy to turn this tie around. So to start things off, how about we look at some statistics? Now, if we begin with Atletico Madrid, Simeone's side are quite confusing. Yes, they managed to beat Barcelona by 4-0 in the first leg, but then went on to lose the next game 3-0 to Rayo Vallecano. They managed a 3-3 draw at Club Brugge and then recorded an impressive 4-2 victory at home to Espanyol. So much like Barcelona, who themselves have had ups and downs in recent games, it's hard to tell which team is coming into this game the stronger of the two.
I said to you, I think they need a fifth because that's how bonkers Atleti can be, particularly away from home, and that's how bonkers this Barcelona team can be.
Yeah.
Now, if they defend like that again at home, the chances are they won't keep a clean sheet.
However, if there's one thing that Barcelona will have going for them, it's home advantage. But will that be enough? I mean, if we consider head-to-head between the two sides, since 2009 they've met a total of 50 times. Barcelona have won 29 of those, they've drawn 12 times, and Atletico have won just 9. Furthermore, Barcelona have won 15 of their 25 meetings at home, losing just twice. But there is one small caveat. You see, for some reason, against Barcelona, Atletico tend to do better in cup competitions, at least since Diego Simeone took over at the club. In the Champions League, for example, both teams have met a total of 4 times. Atleti have knocked us out on both occasions, winning twice, drawing and losing one apiece. For me, this is down to the difference in style between both clubs. Cup competitions tend to favour Simeone's high-intensity approach over Barcelona's elegant possession football. When you play in the league, for example, it's a 38-game season. Success does not depend on 1 or 2 games, so intensity cannot be your only weapon. You need more. You need consistency and a system that is sustainable throughout the season. This is where Atletico struggle and where Barcelona shine, which is evident in the difference in the number of league titles between both teams. So I say all of this to say that this is another cup tie, and as such, Atletico's high-intensity approach could be an issue for Barcelona, but to understand this, let's talk about some tactics. Now, I know what we all want to know. How can Barcelona overturn a 4-goal deficit and progress to the final? Now, make no mistake, this is going to be a crazy tactical battle between 2 elite managers. However, contrary to what most people believe, I don't expect Simeone to sit in a low block. I know it sounds crazy at first because we all know Atletico and their park the boss tactic. I just think that in this situation, given the circumstances and how vulnerable Barcelona are in defense, that's just too predictable, and I think Diego Simeone is smarter than that. Think about it, Atletico have a 4-goal advantage, which means for every goal they score, Barcelona will have to score an extra 5 goals in order to win. Meaning, if they score 1 goal, for example, we need to first equalise that 1 goal plus an extra 5 in order to win. It seems to me that it is more beneficial for them to attack than just sit back and wait for us to keep scoring. Now, does this mean that they're going to go all out attack? I don't think so, and they don't need to. But what this means is Simeone will not field a highly defensive team. He'll field his offensive players and instruct them to take a disciplined approach to defending and attacking, which we know Atletico are always more than happy to do. We saw it in the first leg. Lookman and Giuliano helping out in defense despite playing as attackers. This will allow them to have more bodies in defense without compromising the attacking threat. This is going to be difficult. I'm predicting a similar lineup as they had in the first leg. Now, to counter this, Barcelona need to do 3 things. Number 1, what do you do to a team that wants to go blow for blow? Starve them of possession, frustrate them and force them into making errors that open up spaces in their defense or cause them to commit fouls. This is where the return of Pedri couldn't have come at a better time. Pedri and Frenkie need to be in the midfield to give us control and creativity to keep the ball away from Atletico while creating chances in attack. Frenkie, in my opinion, should be the more advanced of the two. Pedri is better defensively, so we need him to provide more defensive cover and recover possession in transition. Now, he will have a bit more work to do and will run out of gas eventually. We could then bring in Marc Bernal and move Eric Garcia to the midfield. Now, moving on to my next point. Guys, I think out of the three, this is probably the most obvious. Barcelona just haven't been clinical in front of goal in recent games. We just haven't. And I think it goes without saying, you cannot overturn a 4-goal deficit without being able to finish up your chances. You just can't. We need players who are able to finish off chances. Hence, Rafinha, Lewandowski and Fermin Lopez are my preferred starters. And then we can have Lamine Yamal on the right to cause problems and create chances for them lot to score.
Lovely bit of skill, still going, and finding...
We could bring in Rashford or Ferran Torres depending on how the game progresses, but starting strong will give us some much needed encouragement to go on and win the game. If we start with Ferran Torres, Atletico are going to have a field day at muscling him in attack. It's nothing against Ferran, I just think we have to be realistic with our choices in this game. Guys, when I talk about discipline, I'm referring to none other than Barcelona's defensive line. We saw it in the first leg, that high line was a shambles. Our entire defense was all over the place. They lacked communication and the discipline to stay focused and cutting out the passes in behind. But more importantly, it's not just about the back four, it's also about their relationship with the rest of the team. The attackers also need to help out with pressing from the front. And when the first line of the press is broken, the pivots need to be able to drop back and join the rest of the defense. This communication is so important and is somewhere we will benefit from Pedri's intelligence and leadership. Now, this defensive discipline will not just apply out of possession, but also in possession of the ball. Atletico will definitely be looking to deploy the man-to-man press when they feel we're vulnerable during build-ups. They know Barcelona like to build out centrally, so they'll target the pass from the full-backs into the pivots. When we cannot see a clear passing lane out of the defense, we have to go long and vertical. We have to come with the element of surprise rather than playing into Atletico's hands. Lewandowski has to be in top physical condition to help with winning the aerial duels. And speaking of Lewandowski, I'm leaning towards having Joao Cancelo ahead of Balde at left back. I think he's shown the quality of his crosses are better than Balde's, which is something Lewandowski could benefit from in attack. Now, this will leave spaces in behind which Pedri and Rafinha will need to plug. As you can already see, this is all really demanding stuff, so what am I going to predict? Well, the truth is, I don't know. Much as I want Barcelona to win, I have to be realistic and honest. I know for a fact we cannot score 5 goals without conceding at least one ourselves. We just can't. Meaning that if we're going to make it to the final, we have to score at least 6 goals or perhaps take it to penalties. This might be one of those cases where it feels as though the tie was decided in the first leg. That's when you start to think back to the disallowed Kubasi goal and how decisive that could prove. But at the end of the day, we just have to show up with the right tactics and more importantly, the right attitude. I'm going to leave it there. Now it's time for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you thought about my tactical preview. What did you think I missed? And what are your predictions going into the game? I will catch you on the other side where we will be discussing all the tactical details following this game. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, you are missing out on these breakdowns. Remember, it's free to subscribe, like, share and comment. Also, you can stay connected with the channel on IG where we can discuss more frequently about the team and the club. Until next time guys, see you soon and Visca El Barça.